South Africa has confirmed its first case of monkeypox. As the news was breaking, social media went into a frenzy with many users speculating how one contracts the monkeypox virus. One has to ask how to differentiate between facts and misinformation or disinformation, otherwise known as fake news. To discuss this, we're joined via Zoom by Nomshado Nkosinkulu. She's the head of communications at Media Monitoring Africa. Very good day to you. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you for having me.
How has the initial reaction been by South Africans since the announcement of the first monkeypox case?
Now I can, yes. I lost you a bit there.
I was just asking you, just in terms of the, especially social media reaction since the announcement yesterday by the health minister of the first monkeypox case in South Africa.
So, I think what is interesting is that we are seeing a similar situation as to what happened when the first, cases of COVID-19 came about, whereby you had uncertainty and people were asking quite a lot of questions. And because of that, it creates such a perfect, vulnerable and uncertain environment for disinformation to thrive. So what we're seeing is people filling in the gaps with their own understanding without necessarily, looking at the facts and looking at the factual information as well. So social media, you are definitely seeing quite a lot of disinformation narratives going around and not a lot of facts that are being brought forward.
So what tools do people have just to allow them to discern and differentiate between fact and fiction?
So, the first thing that people need to do is don't take everything at face value. Look at the source, look at the context, look at the content as well. Don't just reshare without double checking if whether whatever it is factual. The biggest thing is to look at the different media houses, the Department of Health, what they are saying about it. But most importantly, they need to ensure that if they do come across any content that they feel that is not necessarily true, they can definitely report it to real411.org. Or at the same time, if they want to double check in terms of information, they can also look at the various websites as well as Africa Check.
Just give me that website again where you say they can go through to real.org.
It's www.real411.org.
Okay. Now, just in terms of the bigger discussion, let's remind our viewers about the repercussions of spreading fake information.
So, currently we all know that there's not really strong regulation when it comes to, online posting and sharing. But the biggest thing is that people need to be aware that their posts can be reported, they can be flagged, and definitely they can be taken down if it is the case of the mere fact that they are spreading disinformation. So there are definitely repercussions for any disinformation that is being created or shared online deliberately.
And also, just in terms of as you scan through the information that's coming in, what are the biggest misconceptions that are out there about monkeypox?
Currently, I think what people are trying to do, they're trying to compare it to COVID-19, more or less even trying to make it seem similar. So I think even the first outbreak came about at the same time whereby, masks were no longer mandated to, put on. And that kind of brought in the speculation for those that wanted to create those narratives to thrive. And, the mere fact that I think the biggest one that we've been seeing is that people are misunderstanding how do you actually get the virus? And they are putting it in the same situation as COVID, whereby it was droplets being in the same room, etc. Whereas this one, it's more of, physical contact. So we are seeing a lot of gaps when it comes to the understanding of how do you actually catch this virus.
Yeah. Nomshado, thank you so much for making the time to speak to us today. Very important information as we try to figure out what this early detection of monkeypox in South Africa means and where it will take us. Nomshado is with Media Monitoring Africa. She's the head of communications. Nomshado Nkosinkulu.